ejection from both guys?
My opinion on that does not matter.
How much do you think that impacted the game itself?
None at all.
Back to the scuffle for a minute. Did you bump your head? It looked like you were bleeding a little when you came off.
Yeah, I don't know where or when, but yeah, it was a little blood.
No.
Nothing major.
Okay.
Because it was a 3-point game at that point, and you guys were already down a big in the first place.
I don't believe it made any impact on the game at all.
Did you think that both of you guys warranted getting ejected from the game?
You know, I wish that wasn't the case, but once they throw you out, it's not much you can do. I'd like for them to keep the players in the game.
Steven Adams has long been known as one of the toughest, strongest players in the NBA. But what happened in this latest showdown proves once again, this man is built different. In a game filled with intense moments, Adams found himself locked in a physical battle with Mason Plumlee, and things escalated quickly. From wrestling-style takedowns to both players getting ejected, this was one of the wildest scuffles in recent memory. So what really went down? And why does this moment further cement Steven Adams' reputation as the strongest player in the NBA? Let's break it all down. Before we dive into the scuffle itself, let's set the stage. The game was already intense, with both teams battling hard for every possession. The energy in the arena was electric, and the physicality on the court was at an all-time high.
Was it a matter of you just like, okay, look, no, you're not taking me down
if you
here?
watch it, look, everybody will see the clip that happened, but he goes for every rebound and he does it whether it's a dirty or not. I just felt like they were being more physical than us, so I just made a point to hit him on the glass.
Steven Adams, known for his brute strength and no-nonsense approach, was doing what he does best, dominating the paint, setting hard screens, and controlling the boards. On the other side, Mason Plumlee, a solid big man in his own right, was stepping up as a starter due to injuries on his team. This meant he had the difficult task of matching up against Adams, a player who has built a reputation as one of the most physically imposing forces in the league.
Curious, just, you guys were already down, Nick, then you go down. Were you watching?
Yeah, I was watching.
Watching it, maybe just take me through what was it like you seeing it, down bigs and Houston?
I just think it's tough. Like, you introduce some new lineups that you probably haven't seen in a couple months, so that's a challenge. But I thought Oso came in and played hard. But I feel like really, the last 3-4 games we have a good rhythm with a good group, and we are playing well. I know it didn't result in a win in Memphis, but we've had moments with our group that look really good. So I'm excited for this last stretch.
As the game progressed, tensions started to rise. There was a lot of contact in the paint, with both big men jostling for position, throwing their weight around, and testing each other's physical limits. Neither Adams nor Plumlee was willing to back down. You could sense that something was brewing, and it was only a matter of time before things boiled over. Then, in a moment that caught everyone's attention, the battle between Adams and Plumlee reached a breaking point. The two got tangled up under the basket, and what followed was a sequence that had fans, commentators, and even players on the bench in disbelief. The heated confrontation. As the game continued, the battle between Steven Adams and Mason Plumlee only intensified. Every rebound, every screen, and every defensive switch became a test of strength between the two big men. But then came the moment that turned a routine play into a full-blown scuffle. It all started under the basket. Adams and Plumlee were fighting for position as a shot went up. Both players locked arms, refusing to give an inch. At first, it looked like just another case of physical play, something you'd expect between two competitive big men. But then, things took a turn. Plumlee, in an effort to free himself, threw an elbow towards Adams. That was all it took to escalate the situation. Adams, never one to back down, responded immediately, keeping his grip tight and refusing to let Plumlee go. The two players struggled for control, their arms tangled like wrestlers in a clinch. Then came the takedown. Adams, using his strength and leverage, flipped Plumlee off balance, sending him crashing to the floor in what looked like a move straight out of a wrestling match. The crowd erupted as the two hit the hardwood, with Adams remaining completely unfazed while Plumlee scrambled to get back up. Players from both teams rushed in to separate them, but Adams remained calm, barely showing any emotion. Meanwhile, Plumlee was visibly frustrated, gesturing towards the officials as he got back on his feet. The referees immediately stopped the game and went to the monitor to review the altercation. What had started as a routine battle for position had now turned into a viral moment, one that only added to Steven Adams' reputation as the strongest enforcer in the league. The aftermath and the verdict. As the referees reviewed the altercation, the tension in the arena remained high. Fans were buzzing, replays were being shown from every possible angle, and the broadcast crew was in shock at what had just unfolded. While some saw it as just another example of tough, physical basketball, others argued that Plumlee's elbow and Adams' takedown had crossed the line. When the referees finally made their decision, the verdict was clear: double technical fouls and immediate ejections for both players. The announcement was met with mixed reactions. The home crowd, clearly backing Adams, erupted in support of their enforcer. Meanwhile, Plumlee, still frustrated, argued with the officials, but it was too late. Both players had to leave the court. Despite being ejected, Adams remained as composed as ever. He didn't argue. He didn't react. He simply walked off, barely showing any emotion, something that only reinforced his reputation as a player who lets his actions speak louder than words. On the other hand, Plumlee's frustration was evident. He had stepped into the starting lineup for this game due to injuries, and now he was walking off early, leaving his team short-handed. While he may have thought he was holding his ground against Adams, the reality was clear. Going toe-to-toe with one of the NBA's strongest players rarely ends well. This moment quickly went viral, with fans and analysts weighing in on the battle. Some called it a fair fight, a classic display of tough basketball, while others debated whether Adams' strength gave him an unfair advantage. One thing was certain: this wasn't just another scuffle. It was yet another example of why Steven Adams is considered the strongest player in the NBA. This wasn't the first time Steven Adams showed his incredible strength, and it certainly won't be the last. Around the league, Adams has built a reputation as a player who cannot be moved. His sheer physicality, toughness, and no-nonsense mentality make him one of the most dominant enforcers in the NBA today. Just ask some of the biggest names in the league. Former teammates and opponents alike have all spoken about Adams' insane strength. In fact, players like Kevin Durant and Draymond Green have publicly stated that Adams is one of the hardest players to deal with physically. His ability to set rock-solid screens, fight through contact, and absorb hits like they're nothing makes him an invaluable presence on any team. Over the years, there have been countless moments proving just how powerful Adams really is. Remember when he effortlessly lifted Tony Bradley off the ground and carried him away from a fight, as if he was picking up a bag of groceries? That was just another day at the office for Adams. Or how about the time when he took a brutal hit but barely flinched, while other players would have been sent flying? These are just a few of the many instances that showcase his unbelievable strength. What makes Adams even more intimidating is that he doesn't play dirty. He's not out there looking for fights, throwing cheap shots, or trying to get into players' heads. He simply plays the game the way it's meant to be played: hard, physical, and with a level of toughness that very few can match. In an era where finesse and skill dominate, Steven Adams is a rare breed. He's the type of player who thrives on physicality, embraces contact, and never backs down from a challenge. This latest scuffle with Mason Plumlee was just another reminder of why Adams is widely regarded as the strongest man in the NBA. Steven Adams has once again proven why he's the strongest man in the NBA. Whether it's dominating in the paint, setting unshakable screens, or handling physical confrontations with ease, Adams has built a reputation as one of the league's toughest enforcers. This scuffle with Mason Plumlee was just another chapter in his long list of battles on the court. But what sets Adams apart is not just his strength, it's his composure. While other players get caught up in emotions, Adams remains calm, collected, and focused. He lets his game do the talking, and that's what makes him such a respected figure in the league. So what do you think? Does this moment cement Steven Adams' status as the NBA's strongest player? Or is there someone else who can challenge that title? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more NBA breakdowns, inside stories, and the latest buzz from around the league. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.